Hi chat, what's up? Hope everyone's having a good day, good night, good evening. I need to put my filters back on my music. Boop, boop. Make sure they stay at the right stage. I have brought Ava with me tonight.
Hello?
This is the first time I think we've done a stream where I've had somebody the same size as me. And
that is true, and I mean, it's tough, it's difficult to get down here, you know, you're underwater.
Oh yeah.
But hey, I don't need to breathe, it's fine.
Yeah, trust me chat, I've tested it. Ava can hold her breath for a long time.
Okay, what is that supposed to mean?
It means what it needs to mean. But chat, I have brought the lolly on with us tonight because we are putting Cinder on trial. A trial by Cinder, if you will. I thought it was very clever, and I honestly came up with it 2 minutes before stream.
They did. They changed, like, it was the trial Cinder, and then, you know what? I just thought of something way better.
Trial by Cinder. Like trial by fire, but less.
But yeah, because this is far from a trial, in my opinion. But
yes. But I felt like I could have Ava on because people took this from like some minor allegations to try and claiming that she was breaking the law. Well, I mean, I guess it's technically a civil tort, but
well, that's the thing, like defamation and stuff like that. Like people forget that, like, if there's a law in place that allows somebody to sue you for something, then that means that thing that you just did is against the law. It might not be like criminally against the law, but it is civilly.
Yeah. And people are just kind of throwing this stuff all over the place now.
So yeah, people are straight up saying Cinder broke the law. Torturous interference of a contract. I'm like, that's not okay. Oh geez, we have a big one.
So what did Cinder do exactly? That's exactly what we're here to talk about tonight, chat. So I do want to show you guys the little thingy I have made for tonight's stream, which is this little chart here, the trial of Cinder. And this is a really long chart, by the way, chat. So we're going to have 3 categories when going over the document. We are going to have hearsay, which is basically stuff that has no evidence to back it up. We're going to have substantiated claims. These are claims that they do provide evidence for. But we're also going to have debatable. This is stuff that they technically have evidence for, but their evidence doesn't really support what they're saying.
Yeah, you guys can think of this basically as a like a kind of mini mock trial.
Yes.
While these documents are presenting evidence to be submitted into our quote-unquote court, it is up for us to determine if the evidence is accepted or rejected based on substance. So, hearsay, no substance. Substantiated, substance. Debatable, we're gonna have to look into it.
How many docs are we going through? So we're going through all the docs. However, I don't think people have read most of the docs because each of them is like 2 or 3 pages, and there is a ton of just copy-pasted information between them, which to me tells me this was coordinated, which that makes me not like this a lot more.
Big time. Big time, this was coordinated on such a level that's so blatantly obvious to me that say this were somehow a RICO trial, which it never would be, but these girls are guilty of conspiracy, okay? And fine, that's their prerogative to do, but for all these big VTubers, 6 of them, to come out with a fully completed, substantiated Google Doc, and I use substantiated in quote spot, for one to come out, and then a couple more hours, 2, 3, and then another 2, 3 hours, and then another, and then another. So what they're doing is they are stringing it along, keeping it relevant for an exorbitant amount of time compared to what one post all at once would do. And it's clear to me this is a coordinated effort to bully somebody for being a bully in terms of like business dealings and stuff.
Yeah. So it may be a hit piece. I think it's definitely a hit piece I want to kind of remind chat, because on Under the T, normally when we talk about documents, it's somebody's a predator, or somebody's abuser, or something pretty big. Through every Cinder document, they basically made 6 documents that just said she's a bad friend. That's it.
Also,
Not even
Harry,
like a
you're completely
horrendous
right.
friend.
Coordinated usually means that people talk, they realize someone in common is being terrible, and they decide to throw them under the bus by writing their information down. Fine. And I see that's what happened here.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: say Nana or Bao or any of them, right? Release their Google Doc. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry this happens. The most realistic thing that you would see is maybe a couple days, a week later, another Google Doc came. If one of them saw that and went, oh my gosh, you're right, I have experiences too that I would like to share. It would take time to get them down. The fact that all these girls had all their thoughts down, all within a couple hours of release of each other, that just tells me they talked about this and they planned how to release it and how to coordinate the release of these documents.
So nothing illegal then? Yeah, I do want to clarify that before we start. Nobody in here has
illegal.
claimed anything illegal necessarily. Everything has just been...
Now, there are viewers who have
mean.
tried to claim illegal shit has happened, but yeah, no one has, in these documents, alleged actual illegal activity.
Yeah, so if you guys are expecting to come in here and hear like the bombshell about how Cinder is going to jail in a year, it's not happening. I don't even think this is going to kill her career.
Somali stream. No, I really don't think.
This is just like, oh, she was a bad friend to us. It's like, okay, do I really care about your friend group necessarily? But I do want to get one thing, two things out of the way first off. The first one is, because we're going to talk about a lot of people, don't go harass anybody I talk about, regardless of like kind of what I say about the information they give or how I take it. We're looking from a distance.
Right now, nothing here, no accusation, no allegation, not even the activities of the people leveling these allegations against Cinder. None of it has any like justifiable reason to go out and harass somebody over it. Like this is high school level drama, like Mean Girls shit. Like I'm not even joking.
And I'm also going to say everything here, both for and against Cinder, is allegedly. Because anything could be doctored, anything could be photoshopped, anything could be just made up. It's all alleged. So don't come sue me just because I talked about this. But there is one thing I wanted to get out of the way as well first, before we actually get into the documents, because I think this is coloring how people view this, and I think it has to be out of the way first. So,
big time, yeah.
Cinder made her tweet, which Cinder has not been able to respond to this yet, which she won't be able to. She's caught off guard with it. She's gonna have to take a while to get all of her evidence, because a lot of this was alleged to have happened 2 years ago, which in internet time, that is a lifetime.
Also, Jesus Christ. Not even in internet time. Like, if you're talking, like, legal, like, recourse and stuff like that, I could be wrong, but there's a lot of civil torts that, like, the statute of limitations is, like, 2 to 5 years. If you waited 2 fucking years and say that there was something illegal alleged here, you couldn't even do anything about it, like, with the government or, like, prosecution or civilly. So, like, come on, right? I don't know. It just seems bizarre to me that the alleged activities are at least 2 years. This one that Vamp is talking about is like, she's like 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to touch on before we get into it. So a lot of the documents actually don't have anything from Cinder in it. They have stuff from Cinder's manager, Red or Redacted. And part of the reason people are claiming that Cinder and Redacted should be treated as one person is this accusation from Van Peaches that Red is not their manager, but it is their boyfriend or significant other. As far as I can tell, this is entirely hearsay. Nobody has provided any proof. It's just this one tweet.
Let's see here. I remember playing Phasmophobia with you and hearing Red shadowing next to you before you first debuted like 4 years ago. You told me, y'all said this is longer than 4 years ago, so this could be 5 or 6. You told me he was your boyfriend. Then before we met for TwitchCon, you switched up and said, just so you know, my manager is coming with me on this trip. As if I didn't know who. Yeah, this is gross. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to read that last sentence because it's just, oh, it's here to read this, blah, 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 whatever. Who gives a shit? I'm taking your vampire card, actually. You know what? I am a vampire. I'm allowed to take people's vampire cards. And Vampeaches, you're no longer a vampire. Because this is just sad.
Don't worry, chat. We'll get around to these specific allegations later. But a lot of people are using this to justify saying she knew everything Red was saying. My take on that was...
Even people like TechTone have taken this post and gone, yeah, that they have been exposed as dating their manager. Which is like, guys, there's no evidence, there's no screenshots, there's no... conversation between Cinder and Vampeaches that maybe they were able to record and bring. No, this is somebody's faulty ass memory from 5-ish years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cannot rely on that. That's a horrible testimony. Very easily impeached.
Yeah, and my thing is, even if this was true, that doesn't necessarily mean you know every single thing your partner has sent over Discord. Unless you're like an absolute crazed stalker,
right? So,
you're not watching all their messages.
This is the thing. Cinder's all like, our people are all going at Cinder saying, oh, well, Red spoke on your behalf, so it's pretty much you. And so Cinder responds by... I'm no longer managing, they're no longer managing for me, my creator, my brand, all that stuff, right? They distance themselves, as you would if this was came out this way. But everybody is going, oh, so you're just gonna throw your own boyfriend under the bus? I'm sorry, I just found out that apparently he's been saying all this crazy shit. You know, and everyone is going like, if it was your manager, it'd be fine to throw him under the bus, but it's not that. Because he's allegedly the boyfriend. Like, this whole house of cards is very unstable.
Yeah. And somebody mentioned the community notes. So there are community notes on this. Every single one is just referencing that same tweet from Vampeaches. And of course, somebody has... the proper no note needed, while hearsay in the community may be correct regarding Cinder's personal relationship with Redacted, and a contextual note at that time is fine until confirmed. Community notes should not be used to perpetuate unconfirmed hearsay. So people are actively fighting against this note right now. Several people.
Really, are they?
Yeah, several people. You have two right here at the bottom. Both of them say the same thing. If this is true, it would be, like, good context, but there's literally no evidence saying this is true. It's just hearsay. And that's the thing. Everybody keeps taking Vampeaches' post as absolute gospel. There's no proof of this, and nobody has come out to back them up on this.
The note is kind of flimsy, but you can't prove it. Exactly. And then when it comes to accusations, the burden of the proof is on the accuser. Vampeaches, needs to be the one to provide evidence speaking in the affirmative to her claims. Because she can't, Cinder, as a default to everyone here, should be innocent of this accusation. Why? Because the burden of proof is on her. See, well, you can't prove that what Vampeaches said wasn't true. You're damn right I can't, because it's fucking hearsay. So, no. The burden of proof is on Vampeaches. Don't go, Cinder. You have to prove that Redacted is not your boyfriend based on this singular tweet.
Yeah. So, actually, really quick, I am going to, in here, in the trial of Cinder, we're going to start with the hearsay. Yeah,
you're good, Elise.
Do a little dash for it.
Oh, can we also mark the submitter of the evidence? So Vampeaches.
I mean, I could. I'll do it this way, I think. And we'll do it in order like that. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll all the way down as well. Why is this not moving? There we go.
Their proof is their memory about a Phasmophobia game like 5 years ago.
Yeah. So that's, I just wanted to cover that because a lot of people keep using the Van Peaches thing as if it's gospel. It's not. But this started specifically with Nanolith, and basically all of this is surrounding Nanolith and Nanolith's messages. And they started with, "Hello, I'm here to share something that's affected me personally and hurt others. This was hard for me, but I feel it is necessary. Please do not send hate to anyone on my behalf. This is all I want to say." And they made a document called Terminating My Work with Cinder. It is... it's 16 pages.
That is quite a bit more than the other people's documents.
Yes, so we have introduction and notes. I wanted to share my experience with Cinder and Red manipulating me, using me, and dragging me into drama while sabotaging, slandering, and spreading lies about people I thought were her closest friends. Not only do I no longer wish to work with Cinder, but I want to share what I've endured over the years and shed light on what she's been doing behind people's backs to protect artists and friends that may be experiencing something similar. I struggled a lot writing this document and wasn't sure if what I felt and experienced working was real or just burnout. But I think this proves that I was lied to and manipulated over the course of years while working for Cinder. Note, based on working with Redacted, Red, Cinder's manager, and Cinder over the years, that I am sure they speak for each other, and there's no reason to believe Red was acting without Cinder's consent and knowledge. Whenever I use they or
Absolutely
them, it refers to
incorrect.
both of them acting as a team.
So, you have just completely destroyed the foundation of your document by establishing that the thoughts, actions, and words of one person is the same as the other, and they're acting as a team. You are accusing them of conspiracy, basically. And here's a big problem. Like, if this were seen in court, this would be immediately thrown out. Because you're clearly too close to the situation. You are believing two people are the same people and that they're working together, and anything that they say is co-signed by the other. That's not allowed. That just, Jed would look at that and go, yeah, this makes sense, I mean, there's a reason why RICO trials take so fucking long. They're very difficult to prove. So, to base the foundation of your document on speculation, I can now assume, because falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus, all this is going to be based on that fact that Cinder and Redacted and their words are one and the same, and because of that, I can no longer trust the validity of this document. We haven't even started.
Yeah, so this is something I wanted to touch on right at the start, was she immediately goes, I'm going to consider them the same person, so whatever one of them says applies to the other. And she thinks that's an indictment of Cinder, because now she can apply everything Red said to Cinder. And from what I've seen, a lot of people have taken this for granted when she says it as just being true. In my opinion, this is an indictment of the entire document, because you're immediately telling me you don't actually have proof against one of them, so you're combining them into one entity so you can force them to answer for each other.
Yeah, and it's entirely possible that Cinder is a mean girl.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, this kind of document tells me that Nanolith is a mean girl, and Bao is probably a mean girl. And all these other big indie creators are probably going to collab with somebody if there is a boost to their numbers, if this is transactional. Being a content creator and being quote-unquote friends with other content creators is going to be inherently transactional. You need to be okay with this. Because I promise you, Nanolith has done some things and said some things to other people and maybe even blocked out other people from raising through her, their numbers. And that doesn't necessarily mean Nanolith is a bad person. It's just that this is the game. This is the game we play, and I'm sorry you don't like it, but you're a player.
Yeah. So she continues, with English not being my first language and the language barrier, I discussed the situation, my feelings and thoughts with native English speakers who helped me put them into words so everything is clear without any misunderstanding due to lack of English skills. So I understand this is important when reaching a larger audience, but this also means that we are now getting your testimony through a second layer.
We have to cross-examine your translators, the people that you run this through, and suggested changes and stuff like that. Because now we don't know, like, look at localizations compared to actual translations, right? Like, this is a problem because now this is not only filtered through Nano's clear emotion, but also what somebody else heard and thinks they mean based on English cues and colloquial sayings and stuff like that. This is another indictment on the document in the form of, well, now we have to rely on other experts that we can't even talk to.
Yeah, it just adds like that extra layer of issue. We're going to kind of take for granted that this is just all your words because we don't really have any other way to do it. But it is something to consider, that there's an extra layer of obfuscation between us now. And she says, note, any names that are censored here were censored because the creator in question did not provide consent to have their name revealed by the time of me posting this document. I will say, I'm not 100% sure I believe that. Because, like I said, the other documents use the exact same images as Nanolith. The difference is all of them have different levels of censorship on them. Some have less censorship than Nanolith's do, which tells me that those people had Nanolith's screenshots.
These creators and just patch them together and have an uncensored image based on what one creator censored over what another creator didn't censor.
Oh, I don't think
this seems like
so here's why I think this is important.
Screenshots.
It's not even the censoring, right? The fact that people have screenshots of, because these are all Nanolith's DMs, these are not public knowledge. The fact that they have uncensored versions of her screenshots tells me all of this was sent to them ahead of time. It guarantees it was sent to them ahead of time, because there's no way they have them uncensored.
This pretty much confirms that, yes, there was collaboration and talking with the other creators involved with this. Why? Because you're absolutely, I didn't even think about that. Good fucking catch.
That it just causes an issue. So she does the same thing most people do,
so basically this entire first page is just issues. Like, this entire first page has just been red flags of why not to read this doc.
48 hours according to Bao, yeah. Which, again, it just tells me they've kind of worked together. I find it very inappropriate. Like, they could have boosted just what Nanolith said, but instead everybody felt the need to dogpile on it. They were just grifting, 100%. But she starts with slandering other creators. I will start with screenshots showing them speaking ill of other creators and spreading rumors while manipulating me that it's all in our best interest. In addition to spreading ill rumors, they also complain and accuse Bao of giving their editor too much work, resulting in the editor not having any time for new clients, which will be important later on. The screenshots below show them showing their affection and appreciation, immediately followed by spreading rumors and lies to make other clients appear problematic, to manipulate any future decisions regarding commissions. So we're going to go through a couple of these. And it starts with Nanolith saying, of course, I wanted to understand it better, especially if I cancel her for the second time, lol. Redacted replies with, and I believe we have kind of confirmation that this was Bao, maybe? Or, it's what's his name? Cac? Or Sack? Yeah, it's Sack. Sack the editor, because they posted their own message. So, with Sack, she's given a lot of bias and priority at GS, sometimes over Cinder, and we can't really confront them about it, and plus she's gone 3D... Oh no, this is about Bao. Okay, sorry. This isn't about the editor. Gone 3D lately. Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago and is constantly picking up artists that we work with. We've gotten to know her better, being friends with her, but she really rubs us the wrong way with the things she does. We wanted to try and safeguard our most important artist from her since she's already taken over our editor. And I don't mean to be taken like he doesn't work with us anymore. He does, but he has to dedicate time for her now, and sometimes that gets in the way of our projects. Also, one of Bao's MV editors is the one that did the Boss Rush MV, and we're 99% sure she told him not to do any more with us, but like model art is the most important thing. That's a VTuber's entire image. So because I've read through a lot of these, and some of the stuff, it's like, yeah, that's kind of scummy to say. But some of it's like, okay, that just kind of sounds like venting.
Here's the thing, like, this sounds like Redacted is venting as a manager about the fact that they are having to share an editor and artist with another creator.
Which is unprofessional.
If you have this problem, one, completely unprofessional. A manager should never be bitching like this to a non-client. Like, that's insane. Two, a big thing that I have with this as well is if you have a serious problem with other creators taking attention away from your artist, like eyes away from you or whatever, make an exclusivity clause in your contract with them. Say that when you're working with stuff with me, pay them properly, by the way, because if you're going to force an artist or an editor to be exclusive to you, you better fucking pay them a goddamn living wage. But if that is your issue, that is the solution, right? So bitching about editor and artist availability to a potential collaborator and not even your client or anything, and it's a bad look.
Yeah.
For sure, it's a bad look. But again, nothing illegal, nothing even any more than like what I would see is like bitching drama club at high school, you know? Oh yeah, well, you know, freaking the choir artist is stealing the audio text for hey, we can, I don't know what we're gonna do with the production James and the Giant Peach coming up. We need those artists. Like, that's what it sounds like to me.
So I'm gonna wait till we get through every one of her evidence pictures, and then we will decide whether it was, which one it's in.
Gotcha.
Says, Redacted continues, well, we love working with you. Cinder wouldn't be Cinder without Nano. Okay, but like, let me tell you the tea about the MV thing. Bao had original songs last year that had music videos by her editor, and the songs flopped. Her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. We managed to have him squeeze in the Boss Rush music video between his work with Bao. He says he loved working on it and is super excited to work on the next music video project. Boss Rush's song blows up, and he's credited as the editor. I ask him when he's free to do the next project. All of a sudden, he changes his mind and is only working with Bao going forward. No explanation. There's some context missing.
What that looks like to me...
Oh, we actually know what happened here.
Exclusivity deal.
She did. We find that out later.
I'm sorry. I love it. It's fucking cool. That shit out so fucking easy. God, come on, guys. Give me a hard one.
Yeah. There's some context missing. We know how Bao is behind the scenes, but basically we don't have a music video editor now for our next Boss Rush project. We think Bao got pissed that her editor did an original song music video for her friends without her knowing and did it 100 times better than her original songs last year. That she locked him up so no one else could work with him. And then had him make it public on Twitter that he was only working with her going forward, like a literal announcement tweet. And now she's been barking up the tree of one of our live 2D animators, so like, and you, and a nano model. And Nanolith says, yeah, looking for me sounds sus for sure. Redacted replies, it's so annoying.
Looking for me sounds sus for sure. What does that mean?
Yeah. Redacted replies, it's so annoying. I don't know, man. Nanolith says, oh, and Redacted says, she has a way of guilt-tripping people to get her way. So the actual accusation here was that they were slandering and spreading rumors about other creators. So So I think we can confirm spreading rumors. No, I can't.
Slander, no, though, because this
none of
wasn't
this
a
falls under
public
slander.
statement.
So I think we can put under substantiated here from Nanolith. Spreading rumors about Bow, and I'll put in parentheses red, because I want to make it clear,
Good.
like, what
So we know
specifically who did it.
Yeah, we have to separate red from Cinder because that's the thing you're supposed to do.
And I'm going to put under debatable evidence but doesn't support it is going to be the slander. So they technically have evidence under that section, but there's no actual, like, evidence that that happened. And let's see, what else do they have in here? I think they really just said the same thing multiple times over and over. Speaking ill, spreading rumors, spreading ill rumors.
Like well, manipulating me.
Yeah. Here's the thing,
also,
right?
This is just a little bit of a sidebar.
Yep.
I really don't like these girls who have more money than they know what to do with. Going, oh, I'm being manipulated.
Yeah.
You're not 14-year-old be groomed anymore, okay? What's happening is you are an adult, and if you cannot freaking maintain nuance and your own opinion when talking to somebody, then I don't know what to tell you. You're not being manipulated, you're just stupid.
Oh, I'm gonna do this really quick, because instead of doing the red thing, I'm gonna have red as just an entire section all to himself.
Now, you could say they tried to manipulate me, like you picked up on their effort to manipulate me and you didn't buy into it, right? But you said manipulated me, which means that one, they had you do something you didn't want to do, and two, you did it.
Yeah. I actually brought this up a couple times on Twitter. I really didn't like that people were just throwing around the word, specifically manipulation and emotional manipulation. Here's a dark secret about live chat. Everybody is always manipulating you, whether they know it or not.
It's true.
Like, people kept bringing up emotional manipulation, like, oh, she would tell me how bad she felt.
Social interaction is manipulation.
Yeah. Like, it's not malicious manipulation. You're not trying to, like, actively manipulate people to get your way, but you just, it comes out, right? Like, a lot of people kept saying Cinder was emotionally manipulating people when she would talk about how she felt. That's just her talking about how she feels. That's what people do. Yeah, maybe it does emotionally manipulate you into agreeing with them. That's not necessarily their goal. And I don't see why people they couldn't figure it out. It's called having a discussion. You were trying to change someone's mind. Exactly. It's the same thing when people say, what is it? Gaslighting. When people have a disagreement with somebody and they say you're gaslighting them. It's like, no, I just don't agree that you're correct. That's not gaslighting.
I will say this bigger area down there under exclusivity and blacklisting other creators is
not a crime.
Well, one is not a crime, one in exclusivity clause in your contract, absolutely. But, and I'll wait until we read through more of this, but I'm wondering if Nano is saying some shit that might be actionable given, like, what they're accusing them of doing is not illegal except for the blacklisting stuff. And like, get like this right here. Cinder, they would guarantee me model work for Cinder only, and if anyone asked me for commissions, they'd commission me instead to compensate for not working with other creators. Like, that sounds like some weird ass shit that you should have proof of, right?
Yeah. Oh, give it a sec. We'll get there. Because he had one more up here, which is Red asked me to cancel on one of their closest friends, Bao, by asking me to cancel my work mid-progress, manipulating me into thinking it's okay since she has many connections and she'll be fine anyways, so I wouldn't feel guilty about it or worry too much. It was and is upsetting to me that Red contacted me specifically to check on me canceling the model I had planned with Bao. And Red messaged, "Did you cancel models?" Nanolith says, "I did not." Redacted says, "Nano arc delayed to 2026. Nanolith says, "I'm scared to cancel with Bao." Redacted says, "You shouldn't be. She has so many connections. She'll find someone super fast. Did you already design her outfit? I remember her showing it to us at WeebCon." And Nano says, "Yeah, I can give her the design for free as an apology gift."
Okay, so 1, your statement that Red asked you to cancel. No evidence. Hearsay.
What?
Because here's the problem. Well, read what was said. Red never said, "I want you to cancel Bao's model." He said, "I'm scared to cancel with Bao." Right? Now,
Yeah.
maybe he implied it with the nano arc delayed to 2026, right? But he did not implicitly ask you, "I want you to cancel Bao's commission to work on ours." That was never said. It was never even really alluded to, except for through that. So, like, while this might be presented evidence, it proves nothing. It's completely hearsay.
Fair. I'll put it under hearsay then.
Yeah, sorry, but that just doesn't. It's not even substantiated or debatable. That you said that Red asked you to cancel with Bao, and then you provided a screenshot of him not asking you to cancel with Bao.
So then we have exclusivity and blacklisting other creators. In the messages below, they mentioned wanting an exclusivity contract, but they didn't want to pay for exclusivity, but rather when a creator from their blacklist comes asking for a commission, they would guarantee me model work for Cinder only. And if anyone asked me for commissions, they'd commission me instead to compensate for not working with other creators. This felt very strange, given that one of the accusations they made was overworking their editor, yet their solution to me working with other creators was for them to essentially overwork me to keep me from working on other projects. The messages below show that their primary concern is that the more non-Cinder models I make, the less valuable my existing models become. It's hard to say how much this messed with my mind as an artist that by working with other people, I'm somehow making my existing models less special. Following screenshot is one of them setting up the blacklist, saying I'm not allowed to work with any new clients or create any new outfits.
What? My God!
For VTuber 1 specifically, and justifying those things by saying that with each model, my art becomes less unique and special, therefore Cinder somehow will become less special. The idea that my work as an artist and designer is devalued by working with other people is insane and hurtful. After realizing what taking a deal from them would really mean for both my workload and my mental health, I backed out. And this is her proof of it. Redacted, Redacted says, I mean, like, if we wanted to have some kind of model exclusivity, what would you need to make that sustainable for you?
Okay, that's pretty much, that's a question asking, hey, how much do we need to pay you to gain exclusivity with you as an artist? Yeah. That's a completely normal question to be asked of an artist. Normal artists, I'm sorry, they would be overjoyed to hear that somebody likes them so much they're willing to pay them a full-time fucking wage to be exclusive.
Yeah.
Like Leonardo da Vinci, you know what? He was over the goddamn moon when he secured a fucking commission and an active contract with the Medicis. Like, it was not a big thing. And guess what? The Medicis had exclusivity to Leonardo da Vinci, who never fucking completed commissions anyway. He was notorious for that. But what I'm saying is exclusivity contracts are not uncommon when it comes to artists. Maybe this is just now being like touched on in the VTuber world, but this is very normal.
Yeah. she says, maybe you can share one of your ideas and I can check what I think. And then Nanolith says, okay, I've got some ideas for this, I guess. Redacted says, I was driving, what are you thinking? Nanolith says, okay, so asked help from my friends, they don't know it's you, don't worry. A monthly fee, calculating my monthly earnings, also how long would this be, and if this counts for models I already worked on. That sounds sus, by the way. Just, oh, so does this actually count for past models? Can I get money for that?
That's a little weird, yeah. But here's the problem, Nanolith. You are responding to their request for dialogue about exclusivity with what's in the affirmative to that. Like, this is what I would need. A monthly fee and stuff. So this is you agreeing to this at the moment. Like, nothing is currently playing out how you described it in the paragraphs above.
Yeah. He says, well, I think the main things we're looking for are for you to not take on any brand new model clients and to not make any new model outfits with blank again. They say this is VTuber 1. Supposedly this is Silvervale. And Silvervale confirms that in hers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You'd still be able to work on models' outfits with all your other existing babies, and your artwork comms wouldn't be affected. One of our concerns is that more nano babies means nano models don't have the same value anymore. And second is that there's few people that we just would rather not be able to have a model from you. Maybe not any new babies at all. The reason why I brought this up at all...
that's a problem.
...is there's been a lot of bias with another one of our partners with certain creators, and we'd rather these creators not have what makes Cinder unique, which is your artwork. And I know people are like really upset that he said this.
Is scummy. Yeah, it's scummy. Sure.
It's scummy. It's like some of it is, but this bottom part is actually very normal. Having like a unique artist for your brand, that's kind of standard for like bigger companies.
Big time. And I will say, other than him bringing like the new biases and, oh, we specifically don't want you to make new models or outfits with Silvervale, but you'd still be able to work on other people. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a specific call out that's kind of dicky. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But again, actually, you know what? He says it himself. Just drama.
Yeah.
That he's created. So yes, Redacted has created some drama here. Unnecessarily, but other than that, this seems like a typical conversation between a manager and an artist about exclusivity.
I would also say that like the only one he says not to work with is Silvervale or the blank person here. I'm not sure I would call that a blacklist. Because their specific thing was they say the screenshot is of them setting up the blacklist.
Setting up the blacklist, yeah. I love like they go into a room, there's a little list, it's on black paper. You have a white marker and you go, okay, here it is. I'm setting it up, here's the blacklist. And you just write the name down, like boom, it's done. Death Note status.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really call that setting up the blacklist. I'm probably going to put this whole thing under debatable. Which is setting up a blacklist. And then under substantiated, I think we have asking for exclusivity. Which I don't even think is like a bad thing.
It's not. Artists back in the day would dream of an exclusivity clause between them and a client because it means a living wage. It means a reliable, stable income as an artist. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So no, an exclusivity clause in a contract is completely normal. It's something that most artists would be overjoyed to see. Yeah, I don't like how Redacted's presenting it and tried to sell Nano here on the exclusivity contract, but again, it's just normal shit here.
Yeah. And so my other issue kind of going into this is they frame this as this was a demand sent to them, but it's like, no, they said, well, what would you need to make this sustainable? And they're like, I don't know, why don't you tell me what you would like? And then he gives it. He's not trying to force you into things. He's discussing the terms of this. You're bargaining your contract. That's kind of normal.
Yeah, this is... Honestly, do you need a manager? Because Nanolith,
Yeah.
these conversations are pretty normal, and if you're not capable of, like, handling them without perceiving some kind of threat, then you might need a manager. That's what a manager is for.
Yeah.
Because I get it. Like, the content creator sphere, the artist sphere is kind of wild. People are backstabbing everywhere. But, like, you can't, like, this is, like you said, it's so much of a hyperbolized summary of what actually happened.
Yeah. And then the other thing is she complains about him saying that her models would be worth less if she made more. Artists don't like to hear this. That's just true. If there are multiple
That
people,
is just
and it doesn't mean
economics.
Yeah, it doesn't mean your art specifically should cost less money if more people have your model. It means each individual person with your style of artwork is less unique and technically worth less the more of that there is out there. And that's just supply demand.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And she takes it the wrong way, I think, but this is kind of just a normal business principle. I've heard a lot of artists take it this way, though, before. With the way the docs are written, it makes sense why Cinder's statement is only about red. Exactly. Like, you'll chat, we are 4 pages in, and we have not seen anything from Cinder in a document called Why I'm Not Working with Cinder. About why Cinder is a shitty person. And this is why they start the document by saying, I am considering Cinder and Red the same person. Because they don't have really anything on Cinder. It's all from Red.
I haven't seen a single thing from Cinder's account be posted here. This, like you said, this was all... One, this is the beginning of this year. Weird. Two, this second one that you're showing us is like, okay... This is more back and forth, but like, this is them, to me, this is Redacted trying to not bend over backwards, but really try to make sure that Nanolith is compensated for any potential art that
they would have gotten from someone else.
Would, like, bar them from. Yeah, exactly. This is them like, look, I know this is shitty. If they come up to you, go ahead, tell them no, we'll commission something for you for the same amount, just to help compensate that this is just a manager trying to make it work.
Yeah. So the next one, chat Redacted says, we can pay blank for you and you don't have to discount it from the next payment, and we'll continue giving you lots of model work, I think approximately 4 this year right now, but you don't work with blank, or blank at all again, or models or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with blank or blank before. We also have another GS label for you too, the AFK. And she says, is there any way to add a little bit more since blank still asked for art every now and then? He says, we could do it like when blank asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us to buy another art piece, like so you can get a job from it. Which this is a weird way to do this.
Their response.
Oh, yeah.
It is a weird way, but I think Redacted isn't smart. I think this is Redacted trying to make it work and trying to make Nanolith comfortable, not realizing that this is making Nanolith way less comfortable. But I want to know what they said in reply to that last thing, because it's cut off halfway. I can't read what that is, but what is that? What are you saying there? What are you? Are you agreeing to it? Or what's happening?
Like, all Nanolith really had to say to this was no. They are bargaining a contract with you. The answer is no.
I'm not comfortable with this.
And I think there's something to be said for calling out companies that have like shitty contracts that they try and peddle to people, but you're not calling him out for a shitty contract. You're saying that they're actively being malicious to their, or Cinder is actively being malicious to her close friends because of what Redacted asked you for in a contract, which is not the same thing. This reads like she's agreeing with it already. Yeah, the whole way through she's kind of going along with it. And I think I think somebody found this out, and Nanolith might be trying to cover their ass. And they're trying to be like, oh, I didn't want to agree with it. They manipulated me into agreeing with it.
I think you might be right. This is all very redacted.
Then she has another example of speaking ill of other creators right after they saw I was working with Shy Lily, trying to once again make the idea of working with other clients seem like I am setting myself up with problematic people who will do me no good in the long run, to get me to reconsider working with them. They also continually kept asking about my other clients' plans, which, for them, made the antenna go up, and immediately went to slandering Lily. They consistently try to reassure me that despite their best efforts, they just happen to keep trying to bring drama in as a reason for me to go exclusive, and that working only with Cinder is them trying to look out for me. Redacted says, hey Nano, do you have any more plans with Lily besides just the model, like outfits or merch or anything? Nano says, been just the model so far. By the way, artist, don't tell your client's business to other people, no matter how close the business relationship is.
When somebody reaches out and asks, like, hey, any more plans with Lily besides just the model, blah, 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 and go, client, attorney privilege, confidentiality, whatever you want to call it. It's generally just good business sense, because here's the thing.
I don't want them knowing my business.
Not that it would happen in an indie level. No, obviously not, but if this kind of thing were to happen on a corporate level, I would make an argument this could be considered corporate espionage.
Yeah. It's just...
You know, you have to be very careful. You have to, as an artist, you need to protect the brands that you're working on at all costs. Which means that, no, you do not tell another brand's manager about what you're doing with somebody else. Like, it's not information that they are privileged to.
Yeah. Like, if somebody comes up and asking you specific stuff about other clients, typically it's just good sense to never say anything. And I will say this too, completely unprofessional of Redacted to ask Nanolith about this. In fact, about anyone else, right? Mentioning specific names and stuff like that, like, not what a manager should be doing. Hey, we'd like to offer you an exclusivity clause with our contract with you, simply because we just would much rather your art style and everything be associated with Cinder's brand, and some other creators we've been having problems with, but that's neither here nor there. That would be a completely professional, appropriate, and a vague way of describing your problems, Redacted, without creating this whole mess. Because I will say, Nanolith is not handling this right. They're not interpreting what was said right. But Redacted really was in the wrong here to be asking these types of questions. Yeah. I think my kind of idea that I'm trying to bring up here is I can criticize Redacted for being very unprofessional. Nanolith is being the exact same level of unprofessional, so I'm kind of stuck between like a rock and a hard place here with you both suck equally in the exact same way.
Yeah, they're bullshitting. In fact, we find you both in contempt of court.
Yeah, like you both suck equally in the exact same way for the exact same reason. An artist, if somebody asks you that kind of question...
I reward $500 to the plaintiff, paid by defense, and I award $500 to the defense, paid by plaintiff. What? Yes, literally trade money. That's what I want you to do. That's how dumb you're being.
Yeah. And like, chat, if you're an artist and you get asked this kind of thing, never tell somebody who you're working for, what you're working on. Be like, my schedule is taken up for X amount of days, and after that I will be free for a commission from you if you want one.
Yeah,
don't tell them specifically what you're doing.
Like what my model artist did, Seika, Natsuki Seika, who has, like, I mean, it's gotta be well over 100. Like, they of model safe made, right? They're an amazing artist. And the first thing they did when I reached out to them and with the information is they asked me how much information are they allowed to post on their stuff regarding work on it. Is this a secret project? Do you not want me to mention it? Am I allowed to post on my Twitter about it? Like there are things that, like, you could do as just your duty of care as an artist to ensure that these kind of questions and these kind of leaks don't happen.
Yeah. So I'm going to continue reading for this, and I will clarify ahead of time. Again, this is just Redacted being unprofessional, and Nanolith participating in the unprofessionalism. Because Redacted replies, okay, her asking you for a model recently just made the antenna go up. She's been acting weird towards Cinder lately, and we don't know if something's going on. Nanolith says, oh, that's weird. Redacted says, ever since V-Card launched. And Nanolith says, but what you consider weird? Redacted says, lately dipping out of collabs they were both a part of at the last minute and now ghosting her messages. Cinder's raided her a couple times in the past week and Lily won't acknowledge Cinder by name. Just like pretty weird stuff, I don't know. Nanolith says that's super weird since they both share the same store. Redacted says, around V-Card's launch, they were talking and collabing, and I don't know what happened. But her asking you for a model after that was just weird. Even though she said she doesn't plan on getting a new model anytime soon. I don't know, hate that we keep bringing you into drama. Nanolith says, yeah, I thought it was quite early for a new model. Blank look a bit menacing, so I don't talk to her. Redacted says, I feel like we're going to have to compete with Lily if she's ghosting Cinder and wants the same model mama. So, like, remember, this was put to us as him slandering her. Coming into your DMs and saying she's acting weird and not talking to us, unprofessional, not slander. Even if it was said out in public, not slander. I don't know where they're coming with this is slander or whatever. Because she did say that, right?
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, no, they did.
Or was it further up here?
Up here. Control F.
Yeah, immediately went into slandering Lily.
There it is. Yep. It's not even slandering. Well, it is a little bit because it's not actual slander, but saying that Cinder's raided her a couple times in the past week, and Lily won't acknowledge Cinder by name is very bizarre. It's a easily proven false or true statement, and apparently Nano actually proves it false. Down goes a little link to a clip or whatever. But I will say this, the idea that they need to stay informed and engage the competition is extremely upsetting and toxic to me. It should not be toxic, it should be upsetting. What's toxic is you engaging and giving them the information they're asking for, and not acknowledging or respecting client confidentiality. Like this is a Nanolith L more than it is a Redacted L, in my opinion. Because they are clearly recognizing the behavior is gross, they're feeling icky about it, but they are continuing to engage with it.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier with like the corporate espionage thing, corporate espionage is wrong. However, if you think about it for 2 seconds, it makes complete sense that every business would want to do it. Like, it's just logical that you would want to do that. Here's the
thing. Corporate espionage is a normal thing, but is closely tied to wrong things and things that could get you in trouble with the law. There are certain things that you can't do to acquire information from another company because it's straight up illegal and you're breaking laws just to get to that information. But that does not necessarily mean that corporate espionage itself is actually illegal. You know, somebody going in there and unless they sign an NDA or something, figure out how something works, figure out what a direction somebody's headed, and then coming back to report. Yeah, say the company finds out, they might be angry. They might try to sue, but it's not gonna get through or anything. I don't know. This is just showing me, like, there's a reason why Legal Mindset and other lawyers should really be interested in VTubing, because these guys need lawyers really badly. They just need to be able to talk to a lawyer. So, like, I feel like, Nano, if you talk to a lawyer about this, you would have done your grievances out. You would have then reaffirmed that, hey, yes, this was gross, this was unprofessional, and you would have done all the same exact things that you are accusing Redacted of doing, and then putting it out and airing out all this dirty laundry for everyone to see.
Yeah.
Like, this is shit that should never have left the DMs.
And also, I want to see this clip, which she says, which we could take her word for it, but I don't like to be thorough.
Okay. Ooh! Oh my goodness! Hello! Oh! Hello, ladies! Hello, hello! I am playing Berserker. It's called The Last Berserker Kazan. We were sponsored, but the game was really
that's
fun, so
cute.
I just kept playing for like a million more hours. Hello, hello, everyone! Hello, hello!
All right. No name yet.
Pop raid. Hello, Pyro Pops! What did you guys do?
The pod, there you go, right there,
I am
Pyro Pop
low-key
Raid.
addicted.
There you
I
go.
usually
Said by
so
name.
Most people.
She said the name of her fans. He said he won't address Cinder
That's
by name,
true.
which I personally
Okay,
think
so,
that is
like, on one side,
that's petty.
yeah, one Redacted, that's petty. That's petty of Redacted. But
He's
two,
technically telling the
they
truth,
imply
but it's just very petty.
he's technically telling the truth, and Nanolith is technically also telling the truth with their quote-unquote defense, but it's on this technicality that I hate so much.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, it's not edited, but I swear to God, Cinder's rated her a couple times in the past week, and Lily will acknowledge Cinder. I feel like he went Cinder and almost clicked enter, and then clicked space and went by name. That should keep me safe. Yeah, it technically does, you dick.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those things, like, you are technically correct, and she is technically wrong. Libo omission in this part of the internet. I don't know, like, there's a possibility he really is just that petty. Cause I would like to say that people aren't that petty, but I have seen, not just VTubers, but other content creators have somebody show up to their stream with a Twitch badge on their name, and the streamer tell them to get out because that counts as advertising themselves as a streamer.
Oh yeah, I saw a Twitter post that I think it was satire, but I can't be sure. Somebody had entered their chat with VT in their name as a part of their name. You know, like how my name and most VTubers' names are?
Yeah.
They banned them from the stream for self-promotion because they had VT in their name.
Lily doesn't have enough brain cells to be petty like that. You'd be surprised.
No, Sai Lily seems like a sweetheart.
I'm not saying she's not, and I'm not saying that she is being petty. I think Redacted's being petty on this one and reading too much into it. However, you guys would be surprised how smart a woman becomes when suddenly she wants to be a petty bitch.
It's true. It's true. I choose to actively not to be petty, but I could really hurt some people if I wanted to.
Yeah. I've genuinely met girls that cannot add up 2 plus 2 in their head, and they need to use their fingers. But then you tell them that some girl called them ugly.
But the second they need to get at their boyfriend for a perceived slight, all of a sudden they're a nuclear engineer.
Yeah. Or you tell them somebody called them ugly, and suddenly they go full-on CIA, and they can tell you exactly where they live and how many feet it is from the school to their house. Like,
based on the picture that I'm looking here, the blades of grass are only grow in the Ohio region. What the fuck is going on?
yeah. Like, we're not defending Redacted on this one, chat. We're saying he's petty, and he's definitely wrong on
he's
this.
just being petty.
But we're also just saying,
In fact,
don't underestimate
like
a woman's
weird petty
ability
stuff,
to be
I don't
petty.
know. He himself says, I'm sorry, but Redacted himself admits that this is just weird petty stuff.
Oh, yeah. But he continues, is it just Cinder and blank you've been doing continuous model out for? We'll have the demon update list plus final arcade reference for you soon as it's finished. I think it is. I have an outfit for...
Yeah, they're co-owners, but
Yeah.
I imagine they don't own enough of the company, like one or the other, to push the other out. I don't think that's gonna happen. If something like that were to happen, it would be one of the main owners, like Ludwiger or one of the other big guys that, like, yeah, there's partial owners, but I guarantee you there's one, maybe two people who actually run things, and like, if push came to shove, it's my word and it's no one else's, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to get one of those two involved, and not Cinder or Shy Lily. And I don't even think Shy Lily would make a fuss about it.
We're putting that in debatable. Slandered Shy Lily.
Yeah, big ol' debatable.
This is, I think it's an outfit for blank plan 2. As for blank, got nothing for now, but she always comes up with something. Redacted says, do you know who's rigging Lily's model? Nanolith says, gonna be blank. Again, don't tell people this.
Dude, Nanolith, what are ya? For real. Like, Redacted shouldn't be asking these questions, but honestly, you're answering them. So, of course he's going to ask them, you dummy.
Thanks, Nano. Sorry for all the questions. Just gotta stay informed, especially when it comes to our top artist. Never break. Nanolith says, don't worry. Just don't stress too much with the side things. It's bad for balding. Redacted says...
Yeah, just... I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Did Nanolith just call Redacted balding? But that...
Yeah. Redacted says, I'm gonna go bald now. I'll keep you in the loop about anything else going on with that. Nanolith says, the balding, question mark. Redacted says, no, you fool, just stupid drama. Gotta stay competitive, even when we shouldn't have to. Also, your PFP looks like a guy with a mustache. She says, don't go too far on the competitiveness. It can get bad. Gotta chill sometimes. Redacted says, hey, it's not us. And then he says, we aren't the ones getting a model from the artist of the other GS owner out of the blue and ghosting them and refuse to acknowledge them. So he's salty about something with Shy Lily.
Redacted's being petty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
I will say a lot of people read into this gotta stay competitive thing too much, because I saw it a whole bunch. Yeah, you do have to stay competitive. Like... For us, we don't. We're small enough that we just kind of...
level that they are, you gotta be competitive. I'm sorry, it's just...
Like, for us, we don't. We have our small communities, and we enjoy our small communities.
No, I just passed 2K subscribers.
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
For people that are partial owners in companies like Gamersupps, you have to stay competitive. They're not peanuts. They're not chump change.
Yeah, it's like, competitiveness is like, we weren't on top of something before somebody else was, and it cost us $3.5 million in AdSense revenue over the next quarter. That's the kind of shit that they're worrying about. Now, not the numbers, I imagine. I imagine the numbers are less than that, but that is their worries. That is their stress. So yeah, it's way more, like, high octane than us down here.
Yeah. Also, like, I think people forget how much money exchange hands at this level. There is a Twitter artist I follow who just posts, like, really suspect porn, basically. And they posted I forget why they were fighting about it, but money came up. And they posted that in the last 90 days, from commissions alone, they have made over $200,000. And I think people forget, when you get to a certain level in these communities, the money being exchanged is not small amounts. It is people's multiple years of somebody's salary exchanging hands. There's a lot of money going around. Like, we've talked about it before with HoloLive. Some of the HoloLive models are like $20,000 models. People are putting a ton of money into this stuff.
How big her, one of her models when she guest starred on, what are they called? OTK's, podcast, their podcast. Emaru, Tectone, and Evanville. Shy Lily showed up as a guest there and answered some questions regarding, like, her model rigging and stuff like that. And she said her model at that time was like over 30 grand.
Yeah. Like,
so when we see Nano talking about exclusivity deals or doing a model for Lily or doing an outfit for Lily. That outfit could easily be hundreds, just the outfit.
Yeah. But like, think about it, chat. There are people that they survive in the United States off 30,000 a year. Some people less than that. And think about, she's saying
you know how
Cinder.
much I survived last year?
Yeah. What?
You'll shit yourself.
Probably.
I survived, not this year, but the year before I started content creation. It was, hold on, I'm bringing it up here because it's such a ridiculous number. Here we are, $4,218.
God, I wish that was my year. But I think we have to kind of mention this, chat. And the Shy Lily thing is a good example. Because let's half that, right? Let's say $15,000 a model. Nanolith is being asked for an exclusivity deal for 4 models a year. And some people would hear that and they think, what, you're going to pay them like $4,000, like $1,000 a model? No, let's do half of a Shy Lily model.
Grand.
Let's say that she's doing
so
half, $15,000. That'd be $60,000 a year.
Grand? You know what? 60 grand a year? That's a full-time job. That's a good fucking, like, earning job. Like, that's comfortably middle class.
Yeah. Like, think of it, because I think some people are kind of getting hung up on some of that stuff. Like, an exclusivity deal with that, for most people, that's their entire year just set. For just making 4 models. Boom, done. You have a guaranteed $60,000 that year. And that's assuming we're doing like
I want
a
to mention something a
15,000.
little bizarre here.
Yeah.
And I've just noted because my ADHD. But if you notice, this is them talking again. And these dates are just a couple weeks ago, April 2025. Then them backing out of the deal, the exclusivity deal, is marked for February 11th, 2012, 2 months ago. So why were you still talking to this manager about fucking that? It seems messy. The timeline is sound messy. Dano, you're not winning any brownie points with this one.
Yeah. I feel like we're missing a piece as to why this happened.
We are.
Why this happened.
Too much of a piece.
I can understand why someone would want an exclusivity deal. Exactly. Like, she would have made a comfortable amount of money, for sure. Just based on other people in the industry and how much they make. And they continue, before I wanted to push back and make clear I was uncomfortable on being dragged into drama, they responded by bringing up more drama and baseless claims, all while trying to guilt trip me. It is ironic and crazy to me that I mentioned not wanting to be dragged into personal issues only for them on multiple occasions mention other people's alleged drama. So this is actually from Cinder, and this is 2 months before the Shy Lily thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Ready for this?
Yeah.
They, like you said, here they are saying that Cinder is redacted and Redacted is Cinder. It is ironic and crazy to me that I mentioned not wanting to be dragged in personal drama, only for them to, on multiple occasions, mention other people's alleged drama. Last I checked, it was Redacted who mentioned those. And we have to make clear of that because they clearly fucking aren't. And again, this is another negative point against this document.
Yeah. So this is the first time we see anything from Cinder. We are halfway through the document. We are on page 8 of 16, and this is the first time Cinder has appeared in a document about Cinder. It says, Nanolith starts with, Cinder just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize personally to you since I've only talked about that with Red, but I don't want to be dragged on any personal issues like that. After all, Blank is still a client, and it makes me anxious and kind of destroys my mental to do this kind of deal. Just wanted to let you know I still love working with you and Red, but I'll understand if things doesn't work out because of Blank. I just love my clients, that's all. And Cinder replies, I get it, Nano, and it was unfair to push this on you, but it's just really confusing
Nano, if you love your clients, this is one hell of a way of showing it.
Yeah. She says, it just gets really confusing going back and forth about it. I just get compared to her a lot, even still today, and it's like I'm always living in someone's shadow, which is one reason why Red asked about not making any more models for her. And when you said, I understand if things don't work out, it makes me feel like you're okay not working with me anymore, which hurts so much after all this time. I really appreciate you, Nano, and it's your decision who you ultimately work with, but this is how I've been feeling. Nano says, I don't really see the point of keeping thinking about being compared to blank. You're so much bigger already. You've done so much more. But I would never give blank any priority over you. Also, there's not even any model for her being discussed. I just want to sleep clear-minded. Also, I'm fine not doing models, but at least Gamer Subs art stuff would be fine with me. I don't want to be 100% an asshole to her, that's all. Cinder says, it's not me, but other people's opinions of us. I'm just trying to not get involved in any drama that other people want to talk about comparing us, but I understand where you're coming from, Nano. There's no hard feelings. Nano says, sorry about this. My mental is just a bit weak. Cinder says, same. Nanolith says, I'm sorry for bringing this to
Dang,
you.
girl.
Cinder says, I want you to get that money. The whole situation is just kind of sucky. I want to just get along. Nanolith says, I understand if things don't work out. About this, it would be mostly if you hate me for not burning blank down from my list. Cinder says, I would never hate you. Nanolith says, thank you and same.
I feel like that opinion might change after today.
Yes, she says, same, I'm just an insecure bitch. Cinder says, I love everything we've put together and I want to keep doing more. People saying dumb shit online just makes me stressed. And then she caps this off real quick.
No, Squall, just a second.
Wait, I want to say, because she caps this one off, this isn't to another message, by saying, justifying their behavior, by saying that they are simply looking out for me, when none of this has anything to do with me to begin with, and manipulating me into being grateful for earning well thanks to them despite loss of work from long-time returning clients and new clients. This shit is nowhere in there. This is just absolutely made up on the spot.
I'm thinking, honestly, I'm thinking people got into Nanolith's ear and like literally tried to. This is what they mean. They like because again, English isn't their first language, and it just seems to me like what they mentioned earlier. There are other people's opinions being bled into here, taking advantage of the fact that Nanolith does not speak English natively. Yeah. Because this interpretation makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, like, to me,
and
when I first...
it does make sense as somebody, a native English speaker, reading and explaining it to somebody who doesn't natively speak English. I know this because I've seen this happen in Mexico, where someone's like, oh, well, this is what they mean, and it's not even fucking relevant. But guess what? The person, trusting other translator, fucking goes with it. And so, honestly, Nanolith, I think a lot of your anxiety is being caused by the people you're holding closest to your chest. And you might want to reevaluate that. Yeah.
So, because when I read this, a lot of people were taking this as, like, Cinder being, like, a super manipulative asshole. And I think that's because that's what Nanolith described it as. And it's one of those situations where, because you have been prompted to see something, you force what you're seeing to fit it.
Yeah, they set the stage. I mean, right down there at the bottom, 2/11/2025. I understand where you're coming from, Nano. There's no hard feelings. There you go, right there. That sure, I mean, Jesus, come on.
Yeah, she also describes it as her bringing in drama. Like, yeah, she technically does bring up this other person, but she doesn't say anything bad about them. She just says that, like...
it's drama and passive.
She says, other people are comparing us, and it makes me feel bad. She's not trashing the other girl. She's not saying the other girl has started shit with you. She's saying...
this isn't even mentioning drama.
Yeah. Like, and you're the one that brought it up. Like, that's another thing I think is important here when you read the first Nanolith message. Cinder did not start this conversation with Nanolith. Nanolith brought this conversation to Cinder.
Also, another professionalism point. Nanolith, up until this point, based on what you presented us, your conversations and discussions with your client have been conducted through her manager. Why are you not sending this message to her manager?
Oh, sorry, I forgot I need to move this down.
If we're gonna do that much communication, and hit back and forth with a manager, why would you, in regards to the exclusivity deal that you've been talking with the manager about for a hot minute, reach out to Cinder and tell them that I'm backing out of the deal? It doesn't make any logical sense.
Yeah. This is just like the first message we get from Cinder, and I'm not seeing anything negative about Cinder, especially none of all this stuff, because there was a lot of things. More drama and baseless claims, guilt tripping me, dragged into personal issues on multiple occasions, justifying their behavior, stating they're looking out for me, manipulating me into being grateful.
Her earning well thanks to them despite where's that?
Yeah, like none of this is in here.
Manipulating me into no, let's just isolate this statement real quick. Manipulating me into being grateful.
Yeah.
How dare you make me thankful for how much I make? Wait, what? Like, seriously, think about that.
And
Again, this is why I think these are the words of the people who are in her tier. I don't think these are Nanolith's words.
Yeah.
I think this is like, no, this is what it said, but this is what they meant. I know, I speak English.
Yeah. This is why I kind of brought up the Vamp comment. What was her name? I have it over here. Vamp Peaches. This is why I brought up the Vamp Peaches comment. Because if you accept that Cinder and Redacted are the same person, this does look like emotional manipulation. But if you acknowledge the reality that they are two separate people with two separate approaches to business, this is literally a nothing burger. At least on Cinder's side, it is literally a nothing burger. Then she continues with the next section, concerning my work and models as a team. Another example of going after clients of mine before claiming that having more clients alongside them makes my work less special, with the recurrence of "it's just business," manipulating me into believing that working with her is special for multiple reasons and that I risk losing that special something as a client. I prefer to work with others. No acknowledgement of my reasoning and need of working with other clients due to the nature of my work, solely focused on their issues. I'd also like to note again that this screenshot is one of many occasions that indicate that Red speaks on Cinder's behalf. I was originally concerned with everything going through Red that it might not have been 100% Cinder's feelings or wants. I messaged her about it to make sure that he spoke on her behalf and confirmed with both of them that this was the case. I would like to point out that yes, Red does speak on Cinder's behalf. That does not mean he speaks with her voice. He will say certain things that she probably doesn't agree with.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jared from Subway spoke on Subway's behalf a lot. Doesn't mean that they agree with everything he said or did behind the scenes. Like, come on.
Yeah. And I have to say that her evidence for this even is very weak. So we're going to go through this, and she says, "Hey Cinder, I hope you're doing okay." By the way, this is in 2023, just so we're clear. So we have gone from up here talking with Red in 4/12/2025. Then we go to Cinder, which is now in 2/11/2025.
Yeah,
we have gone back 2
backwards.
months.
This is completely incorrect on how to present this information.
And then we're here on this one.
Information like this to find our facts monologically.
Yeah. And then we're on this one,
Holy shit,
which is 11.
Is that 2023?
Yeah, this is now 2 years ago. We went 2 months back, and now we're going 2 years back. And it's like, this is not helping your case.
No, this is not okay. This is not okay. This is not, no. This is so... You want to talk about manipulated? This is manipulative. If we hadn't if we had not paid attention to the dates, this would have felt like a serialized group of interactions that consistently escalated to the point of the falling out. the fact of the matter is, no, this is all over the place now. I have no idea where we are. Your timeline is all fucking out of whack. Nanolith, you need to watch yourself, because honestly, at this point, you're saying a lot of things rather carelessly, and I don't think it's anything actionable has been said yet, but you're definitely approaching that fucking line.
Yeah. And this is why I was
Just
talking
remember,
about...
all this was released publicly, which means that slanders or defamatory statements are absolutely that.
This is
because
why
it was released to a public audience.
This is why, chat, on Twitter, I was talking about how I didn't think people were reading this correctly. Because a lot of people, what they're doing is they're reading, like, her description of what's going on. They're just kind of taking for granted that all of this is in order. And they're like, okay, well, the way she's coloring this interaction is just true. But the thing is, I feel like if you deleted all of these sections and you put all of this information in order, everybody would be like, okay, I don't see what your problem is. Like, I don't see...
People would be fucking confused as shit.
Yeah. They'd get to the end of it and it's like, I think this Redacted guy kind of seemed like an asshole, but I don't really see what you're saying or what your problem is.
Oh, Jesus. So it's about working with Cinder. My friends told me it's a bit unfair for me to stop other models, so I do more... The exclusivity deal? You were talking about the exclusivity deal for fucking 2 years?
Yeah. So wait, we got to go in order. In their order, even though their order kind of sucks. Hey Cinder, you're doing okay. I talked with Red, and I believe he talked to you already, and I thought it would be best if I just check here personally. Actually, I wanted to know your better thoughts, because Red tried to talk to me, and I think I misunderstood things. Cinder says, I'm good, what's up, Nano? And she says, okay, it's mostly about this, and I gotta get close to the screen chat, because this is tiny as shit. Not to discredit any of your work, because everything you work on is top of the line incredible, but when everyone's a nano baby, it feels less special to be the one, if that makes sense. Kind of been getting the same feeling from gamer subs lately, too. Nano says, I thought on canceling some models because of it, but then again I realized it's not really fair to me. Cinder says, I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. By the way, this comes from, I think, Nanolith being told what to think by other people.
Is this yeah. This is what exactly, because if you scroll down just a little bit, you can tell, oh, my friend told me this and it's unfair to me and blah, blah, blah. It's I don't know. Nanolith needs to think for themselves.
Yeah.
I think this is what this is a lot of, they go with what people tell them, to their own detriment, and like it could be Nanolith is the type of person who will apologize for this document in a week or two. I was wrong, I had the wrong people in my ear. Yeah, because you have the wrong people in your ear all the time, because you're not listening to your own thoughts, you're listening to everyone's words.
Yeah, and I have to clarify this, because this has become a meme now among people to say it's just business. And that is them completely misunderstanding this sentence. They're saying that Cinder is claiming what Redacted says is just the normal business. No, Cinder is saying Nanolith taking other commissions is just business. She's saying, I understand you're taking other commissions because it's business. This is support of Nanolith, not justification of Red.
If anything, this document has been a 101 on like reading comprehension and media literacy, and I'm sorry to say, guys, but most of you have failed.
Mm-hmm. Like, people have fucked up on this it's just business thing so hard. Nobody read this right. And she says, of course we love working with you and want to keep working together, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason, for you to help grow and not because you don't like me. Being one of your first model bebes was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with live 2D cutting to improve your skills, and I think that's a big part of why everyone loved the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them. I can have Red send you a list of our plans for the future and estimated due dates, so just let us know what you actually want to work on. That way I have time to look for someone else if you don't have time for my projects or don't want to do them. It feels special to only have your model art for all my outfits, but just let me know if you don't have time for me to be an exclusive nano art baby anymore. Nanolith says, it's no personal reason. I would rather never do something like this to you or anyone, but yeah, it's important for my job to reach far. I like working on different projects and people. I never ever said I didn't want to work with you anymore. I told Red, though, that I have my other works. I will always have a way to get you a priority spot when possible. You will always be my special baby. Cinder replies, I also think it's important for you to work on projects that you're excited about. So I'll go through my plans with Red and send you our ideas to see if it's possible with your schedule. I know he can be a little pushy sometimes, but it's because he's just doing business for me to grow, and he absolutely loves your work as much as I do. Nanolith says, it's okay, we'll update you guys ASAP. Cinder says, sounds good to me. So my huge complaint with this...
I will say this, like, it's normal of a manager to be pushy.
Yes.
And this also further establishes the fact that Cinder and Nano are not the same person. They don't speak for each other. Cinder would not be apologizing on behalf of Red Redacted by going, hey, sorry about that. I know you'd be a bit pushy sometimes.
Yeah.
If she completely agreed with all of his approaches and signed off on them.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I'd also point out that people have taken, she showed this one sentence from Redacted to Cinder to mean that Cinder knows literally everything Redacted has ever sent Nanolith. She does not. And the one thing you're showing Cinder that he has sent you is non-problematic. Like, there is no reason from what you have sent her to suspect that Redacted is doing anything other than proper business etiquette. It doesn't mention any of the blacklist stuff. It doesn't mention, like, any of the trauma dumping, any of the drama mentioning. Literally none of it is talking about that stuff. This whole thing reeks of someone reframing the past events for Nano. That's kind of what I got from it. None of it really felt like it made sense, necessarily.
Yeah, it feels like more than one person's hand is in writing this, and it's more than one. It's like a weird fucked up game of telephone, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put this in debatable, and I'm just gonna put that what is it? Cinder knows everything Red is saying. And I don't even really want to put it in debatable. I want to just put it in hearsay. But I know this is something they have technically shown evidence for, and it's highly debatable if it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you made the right call there. I was thinking about putting it on hearsay as well, but it's just... I don't know, it's really close to it.
Yeah.
I think multiple judges, if you ask that on hearsay... some would sustain the objection and others would overrule it.
IDK, I personally would want to know all the communication a manager is doing for me. The reality is, chat, and I can speak from experience in multiple different businesses, you're never going to see your manager's like phone conversations, text messages, or DMs.
You're never going to see how the sausage is baked, guys. I'm sorry. I know you want to see your manager's sausage, but it's not going to happen.
The reality is, if you're talking to your manager, they're going to tell you, hey, I talked to X, we talked about Y, and that's all they're going to tell you. They're not going to give you the specifics.
They're not going to tell you they're not going to, like, put down a recording, like, here's our conversation as it was recording in perfect 24 quality pitch. Like, look, no, I'm sorry. They're going to give you a bullet point, it's that. And be like, here, you got the gig. Ah, sorry, could get the gig. Like, people... A manager is the kid who always got 100% in math, even though he never showed his work. Okay? They know what they're doing. They know what they have to say to get what they want for you. And it might not be the most pleasant or the most, nice guy. So they're not going to give you specifics. Like, Redacted being as pushy as he was in those things, so I'm like, yeah, that's a typical manager. Rating Bull is a fucking asshole. He's still my manager, and I still trust him.
Yeah. Somebody says having a manager is flawed if they're supposed to speak on your behalf. The reality is that's every job. Like, you go to a mechanic, and you ask a mechanic to fix your car, they're going to be like, oh, we replaced XYZ. It's like, okay, well, how did you do that? What was your process? No, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, we replaced XYZ.
you could ask for a itemized list, and they might go
give
as
you
far
that.
as to explaining like everything you replace and stuff like that. But that is a
Well, I mean, this just kind of goes for like every
that's a
job.
courtesy that they're giving to you.
Like
yeah, and it does. Like, here's the thing. Like, as a lawyer, yes, technically I could defend myself in court, but guess what? If I'm sued or I am something where I need a manager or representation, I'm gonna hire a fucking lawyer. Does it matter that I know the answers to the question? The fact of the matter is I'm too close to the situation as the client, as the affected party, and so I need a non-biased, hard-hitting third party to operate my interests for me. That's what Redacted was doing, and Cinder's responses here, what few there are, seem very like, I understand, while also like trying to explain like the frame of mind that they have. But it's just, yeah, again with the, Cinder is Redacted, Redacted is Cinder, they're one and the same. No, they're not. Like, I guarantee you, if Nanolith had a boyfriend or girlfriend, and somebody just went, well, I don't care what you say, what's your guy say? What do you say? I'm pretty sure everyone, like, would take that completely wrongly. Yeah. But because of how it is set up, you know, it's like, oh, well, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, he speaks for her. Like, I've seen so many posts of people, well, Redacted speaks for her. Redacted speaks for his women, who we can't even actually prove they're dating, but okay, yeah, sure, that's not a sexist comment at all.
Well, there's two comments that I think are relevant. The first is, people forget you hire a manager to alleviate your burden. If you want to be involved in every single thing or know everything a manager does, then you might as well do it yourself. And the second one was more of a question. If, and big if, Red is Cinder's SO, would that change this perspective? I said this on Twitter. I don't think it does. Because you don't, if you are checking through like all your partner's messages, that is typically a sign that you don't trust your partner and your relationship should probably end.
That's a breakup sign. Yeah, that's a red flag. Like, no one is healthy for each other in that relationship. So big time now. Like, even if you were to take the consideration that Redacted may have been dating Cinder, it doesn't change the facts that have been presented to us.
Yeah. There's no reason for her to read through his messages.
If Redacted was dating Cinder, if Cinder found out all these specifics of how Redacted was pursuing her interests and she decided to drop him, it's entirely her prerogative. Like, people were getting on Cinder for her little of a response while she actually puts her thoughts together. I'm like, that's exactly what she should have fucking done. Yeah. I am ending my professional relationship with Redacted. Moving forward, I'm collecting my thoughts. I will give you guys a better update when I have a chance to. Cinder handled that as though they have a PR person or worked in TR. Okay?
If Red did nothing wrong, why is Cinder cutting him out now?
Manager.
We never said he did nothing wrong. We said he's been extremely unprofessional. It's just we think that the people
Red did nothing wrong.
Yeah. We're just saying the people that are accusing him of being unprofessional are equally as unprofessional.
Yes, are extremely unprofessional and are putting words in Cinder's mouth and putting words in Redacted mouth, saying, oh, well, you guys are one and the same. Like, and here's the thing, if Red did nothing wrong, why is Cinder cutting him out now? Honestly, even if nothing he did was necessarily wrong or illegal or something, and I found out somebody, my manager or my boyfriend, was being this pushy, it might be a relationship ender. You know, and that's okay. It's her prerogative. Like, to give her shit for cutting off what it's clearly been some kind of source of drama for her is ridiculous. It's like, hey, why didn't you stick with your wife beater of a husband and try to make it work? Are you fucking crazy?
Well, in this case, because your manager is your representative, I think even if Red did do nothing wrong, as a manager, he's tainted now. And as unfortunate 100%. As it may be, your public perception really matters in that kind of position. So if people don't trust you anymore, you have to get rid of them, because you're not going to be able to get people to work with them.
By
Explains
the way,
a lot for the other
minutes
cuts.
Before I have to go, but I am still here.
That's fair. We're on 10 of 16 of this document. So the Nanolith is, so it's about working with Cinder. My friends told me it's a bit unfair for me to stop other models, so I do more for Cinder, which I agree with them. I'm a free artist, and I should do whatever I want to do. I don't want to take sides on any drama or situations. I still will always have a way to have open slots for Cinder, but I won't be having her as my only customer. Redacted says, I agree, you're a free artist and you should do what you want, but I was under the impression that taking on more Cinder work is what you wanted. I didn't think it was like we were making you do that. Nanolith says, I guess we got a misunderstand on both sides. It's more about this. And Redacted says, oh, I see. I mean, what I said is still true about how we feel, but I wasn't saying you had to only do Cinder work from now on. That's with anything, though, not just your work. If you have something special, then everyone wants and gets that thing. It makes it less special. I'm sorry you were under the impression we were trying to make you only do work for us. I will keep things more business
well,
talk.
Let's be real, you were. That's what the...
I'll have to check the time
That's what
frame.
the talk of an exclusivity deal is. Yeah, Dad, this is 2023. And the exclusivity deal was talked about again in late 2024, early 2025. Yeah. So maybe at this point in time, Redacted did not mean to do that. But obviously, the subject of exclusivity was once again broached.
Yeah.
So I don't... Like, this is a little concerning to me on Nanolith's part, because it's like, okay, you're framing this in a really fucked up way, because like what I almost did as a lawyer went, oh, well, she ran, and then what, fuck, shit, that's right, this is from 2 years ago. So again, timeline's absolutely messy, but Nanolith can't present this information this way because it's so misleading. Like, you're talking about manipulation and stuff like that, but this, in my eyes, is far more manipulative than anything Redacted did.
Yeah, so I just scrolled back up to check really quick chat. This conversation where she's kind of talking about working exclusively with him is about 6 or 7 months before he broached the idea of exclusivity. So that's why having this so out of order matters so much. Because right now it looks like he's just lying through his teeth because of what we've seen previously.
It does. Because
but
of how it was. Yeah, exactly. But we know that, no, it's not. Because at that time and point, he probably didn't have any ideas of it. So maybe he had an inkling, but he hadn't actually approached her. Hey, if we were to do an exclusivity deal, what would you need to make that happen?
Yeah, so this is just her not understanding the special thing. He's not saying your models suck because you make more of them. He's saying our model, like what we have, is devalued by having more on the market, which is just true. That's just business. I'm not saying an artist should care about that. I think as an artist, you probably shouldn't care about that because of how your business works. But as a person who owns the art, you kind of have to care about that. It's a weird way where each side is like diametrically opposed, right? Like, it benefits the artist to have more people hire them, but the people that hire them are benefited by no one else hiring them again. It puts it in a weird dichotomy. And we're gonna get to the part where she still doesn't understand the business thing, and I think some of this is other people like talking in their ear, and some of it's probably that they don't understand English very well, as they said. It says, it's simply business, normalizing the behavior once again by stating this is simply business to sabotage other VTubers' career and not work with them and focus on Cinder instead. Redacted says, it's okay, Nano. You're just making a living and making a name for yourself, and I can't blame you for accepting work from other big names in the industry and having very desirable talent. If you end up filling your model schedule again like it was, let me know. We'll have to replan some things depending on that. Nanolith says, thank you for understanding my side. We're all trying to have our names somewhere. Just don't take this personal or anything. I still love working with you guys. And again, apologize for the trouble on your plans. I'll still revisit my list and see what I got. Redacted says, business is business. If you want to go through the projects we talked about and let me know which ones you'd want to do too. Is this about blank model, Nano? Nanolith says, yeah, I want to take it, but I don't want to disrespect Cinder. I just want to do pretty models, no hurt feelings. And he says, business is business. He says, Nano, you're a freelance artist and blank is a longtime client, so it makes sense to continue doing work for her. I understand the logistics of it. At the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you. He says, I really appreciate...
Oh my God.
Yeah, chat, remember, what we're reading here is Redacted being a massive asshole.
Yeah, this is him being... Yeah, God damn it, I'm gonna have a fucking stroke.
Right, we have to put that into perspective, chat, is we are supposedly reading Redacted being a massive asshole trying to normalize abusing Nanolith. It's what we're supposedly reading right now.
Manipulating her into being grateful that she's making money.
Yeah. It says, I really appreciate you for understanding my side. I do understand your side too, but sadly it's something between you two, not me. I shouldn't get involved in this fight. I just go art burr. Redacted says, right, I know. I just didn't think our other conversation sounded like I was trying to make you not work with her on a model, like a blank specifically. Maybe I just considered the situation too much. My mistake for thinking this way. It's okay. She says, but are we good for real? This feels like a weird breakup I'm stressing. Redacted says, me and you are good, but I still have to tell all this to Cinder. It'll be fine. Don't worry, I think she's still sleeping. Seems like this is a misunderstanding of business is business. Oh, it's 100% misunderstanding of business is business. And again, this is placed here in the document, maybe unintentionally.
Dude, this is him literally, like, just, well, no, I think it intentionally, because again, the way that it's placed makes it seem like it's just business meme, right?
Yeah.
But if you actually read it in its context, you look at the dates and everything, you go, oh, this is Redacted telling them, hey, business is business. Do what's good for you and your business. Like every time we've heard business is business or it's just business, it's been Redacted or Cinder like glazing up and reinforcing Nano's like, no, you're allowed to do this. This is your business. It's this business. We're not gonna take any hard feelings or anything. And then she's somehow taking this as, yeah, they're being dicks. They're manipulating me. Fucking, what are you on?
Yeah. This was when Nano canceled on Silver and said it was for health reasons, then told Redacted she canceled but didn't say it was due to Cinder. So here's the problem, is that would make sense that they convinced her to cancel if this happened after the exclusivity talks. This happened 6 months before the exclusivity talks. We have no context for what they're talking about.
Yeah,
and we won't get any context. She won't be showing us anything.
No, we will. Yeah, exactly.
As far as I remember, this is as far back in the timeline as we go, so we will never get context for what they're talking about or why she felt this way. She is just not sharing that information. Damage control. Making sure none of this reaches the other VTubers is all kept hush-hush, while also providing proof they know what they do is ill-intended and should not get out, as it would cause issues for Cinder's career to be painted in this light. Note that the uncalled shot at VTuber 1 even spoilered a hidden message in Discord, so it wouldn't accidentally be leaked. Nanolith said, sorry, my voice. Is this still 2023? Yes, this is still 2023. I try to be transparent as much as possible. I think it's more fair for both sides this way. Redacted says, you didn't tell Silver you canceled because of Cinder, did you? Nanolith says, no, I told them it was a health issue. Nanolith says, I would never blame anyone besides blank. Redacted says, lol, we never want to make you feel like we're making you or forcing you to not work on something, especially if it's something you want to / don't want to do. And our conversation the other day wasn't meant to convince you of only doing Cinder's work. I'm sorry that it sounded to you like I was telling you to only do Cinder work. I'll message you later. This is a couple days earlier. Says, well, let's see if blank wants a nano model or not, and I hope blank finds someone else. The constant obsession with VTuber 1 and claiming that she is asking for it by causing this unspoken competition, which is coming from absolutely no other source than Cinder herself. So we're going back, 4 months? We're going back another 4 months, which, by the way, this is long distances. We just keep jumping. I think it more like
we keep
wanting...
jumping for much of the time. It's kind of stupid.
There's no context connecting them either. I think it's more like wanting her to recognize Cinder, even though it literally doesn't matter. I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one-up each other because blank can't get along, but I also understand her point of view. A new VTuber who people say looks, sounds, and acts like you becomes just as successful as you in a year. If she did recognize Cinder as an equal or friend, then it would be like she's endorsing her copy, or like I've seen some people say her replacement. They share a lot of the same audience too. Like at the end of the day, it isn't about how much we make compared to her. We just want her to recognize, hey, Cinder's a big VTuber too, she got there on her own merits just like you did, get along. And the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. I just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from, try out, do.
Okay, that's just paranoid as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, probably accurate, but again, sounding like a crackhead to your client's artist is not a good look. Completely unprofessional. Again, we're not saying Redacted is, he doesn't have any fault to him or he hasn't been an asshole here. He has, but he hasn't been any more of an ass than I see your typical manager be, and she especially hasn't been as manipulative or easy. Like it's these or the posts and the screenshots that Nanolith as her gotcha, as her smoking gun, then I'm sorry, there ain't shit here, because this should have been your A game. This should have been your most damning shit, and I've been reading screenshots of Redacted in Cinder, like, encouraging you to follow your dreams.
Yeah. You know the spinning figure we have on stream? Blank figure was announced on Wednesday, no spinning figure. Cinder debuts Saturday, everyone hears about it, figure announced, spinning figure on screen with figure right next to it. Stream yesterday, first stream since Cinder's debut, guess what? Spinning figure with figure next to it. Like a month later, unfollowed her on Twitter and started taking her ideas, Cinder's ideas, like the flames. And now she's basically rebranded to more of a fire Cerberus, using fire emojis all the time, shaking my head. Never did that before. It's funny because she used to call herself a hellhound, but stopped when Cinder grew past her and now uses a Cerberus or Cerber pup.
Her name is... her name is fucking Cerberus.
Yeah.
Where does Cerberus live? There's a lot of fucking fire down there, bro.
Yeah. It says, the unfollow is weird. Redacted says, yeah, so it's like, there was also unprovoked tweets from her, like, I didn't copy anyone else for my design is all me, this is who I am. Like, huh? Who are you saying that to? Oh, lol on random Cinder clips on YouTube. There was one dedicated fan or someone she knew, IDK, that would comment on these clips, saying like, when are you going to clip blank? Only on Cinder clips. I'd like to highlight...
I'm gonna have to admit it here. Guys, I'm so sorry, but I based my design off of Mizu here. I just changed the hair, the race, the clothes, the eye color, the artist style.
She even took my pointy ears.
I got too much. I'm so sorry. I did. Look, pointy ears, and both of us, they wiggle a little bit. Yeah, see? Yeah. I'm a copycat. I'm so sorry.
Fucking whore. Even tried to copy my hair vents, just moved him over to the side a little bit.
I did.
Now another 2 months back? Yeah, we just jumped another 2 months back. Like, we just keep going further and further back.
Yeah, like, this is... Hold on to your hats. We're gonna see some serious shit.
Okay, yeah, so I want to head this off real quick because I just thought of this, and I just realized that I'm correct. So some people, their Discord actually displays it as month day. I just want to clarify because we go back to this redacted tweet, it's 7/19. So this is in fact month day, the regular American way to do it.
Okay.
So we are in fact going back by months.
So, the regular American way. You mean the unique American way because the rest of the fucking planet does it the other way.
And they're all wrong. Because everyone even, when they speak it, they say it our way.
You know, that is true. You know what is actually really funny to me, though? America uses the imperial system. And the imperial system, not anymore, but it used to at one point, be based on the various body parts of the king. For instance, an inch was the width of a king's thumb. A foot, a king's foot. Except so I'm like, America, for all your freedom, using a measurement system based on a king's body parts seems like an antithesis to the spirit of America.
I will say, because this is a random side point chat, a little tangent, but it's always something I have tried to explain to people before. Because a lot of people will say that the imperial system doesn't make sense. Actually, the reason America uses the imperial system is because it makes a ton of sense for the average man. So, like, back in the day, the average man wouldn't have the ability to have, like, measuring tools. So he would measure his house in feet. He would just put his own foot end to end and walk from one side of his property to the other. And that's how...
That's exactly what... Yeah.
That's why people use the imperial system, because it's far more useful outside of a lab setting than stuff like meters and kilometers, because people don't, or they didn't used to have it.
For your everyday person, you're gonna use imperial system.
Yeah. It just didn't make sense for them.
It is funny, there is something that the United States does use the metric system for.
Yeah.
Distance measuring in the military. 3 clicks out, that's 3,000 kilometers. Three clicks out is 3 kilometers. Yeah. 3,000 meters. So that's the only instance I can really think of. And again, that's military shit, right? So for your average person, you're gonna, what's an inch? Oh, my thumb's about an inch.
Yeah, that's where like a lot of those measurements came from. Which is why in school they would teach you to use specific body parts to do the measurements. Because that was the whole point of them, is they were supposed to be stuff the average man could use his body part and like guesstimate how many inches or how many feet something was.
Yeah. Okay, it is now officially 1 minute past when I have to do it. So,
well, real quick, this is the last sentence, or the last sentence in her message. It says, I'd like to highlight the irony of expecting to be entitled to recognition for her own efforts and size when her own active efforts are tied to sabotaging this very same VTuber. Also, feeling entitled and insisting to be recognized by someone else is odd. Thanks for taking the time to read through everything. I hope everything makes sense and everyone who has been hurt, manipulated, or sabotaged by her will find closure. So we are going to add into the debatable
like you're welcome
sabotage
thanks, but
mystery person.
You said you hope everything makes sense. Nothing makes sense now.
Yeah,
everything makes far less sense than before I read the fucking document. Titone's goddamn bullet point summary make more fucking sense than this goddamn document.
So it occurs to me reading this is that in the substantiated section for specifically Cinder, absolutely nothing here with evidence.
Yeah, nothing here. Yeah, nothing here with substantiated evidence.
Ava having a legal breakdown. I mean, because they're like throwing out these legal terms that they don't understand. I said it on Discord to one of my friends, but I feel like people were saying it's torturous interference because that came up in public conversation with Kirsch, and people have just now heard that word, and they think they can just apply it wherever.
Oh, it's extremely annoying because I promise you, I went on Under the Tea with you guys. We were talking about specifically tortious interference of a contract, and I swear to God, I did not hear your average person talk about that term until today. Oh, is this tortious? No, it's not. Look, just because you heard a new word and it sounds cool doesn't mean you get to use it all the time, okay? Don't ruin this term like you ruined woke, okay? Like, everyone loves woke, but the reason why they did is like some guy fucked up and said woke, and some Karen went, oh, what's that? What's that noise? I'm gonna say that. Told my friends so they know I'm hip and jive, and boom.
I don't say jive. What is wrong with you? You are I'm pretty sure you're way too young to be saying jive. I'm a jive hip cat.
Stu, we just said that? Okay, so...
None of this could have happened
But
without
yeah,
Nano
so give me
entertaining
that for
Red
Abby.
for those years.
I'm
Definitely.
going, like, a couple highlights regarding this document. I'm going to assume that Nano is, like, ground zero for these top drops, right?
Yes.
So all the documents you guys are going to go through with Mizu are going to be based on that. You're probably going to see a lot of the same screenshots and stuff. But if we hit the main document that all these other documents are based off of, and we have found absolutely nothing in terms of substantiated evidence of Cinder doing things that are wrong, I don't think we're going to see it in the other any other documents as well. So
Just
I will
real
say,
quick,
as far as documents go, this is probably a D-. Some F, but it's damn close.
just real quick before you go, you can see it here. Is every document is just the same messages between Nanolith and Redacted.
Oh my god, you're right.
Because this is Bao's document. This part is
Okay,
like the
Bao's
only new
document-
part
hold on,
Bao
real quick.
adds.
Let's scroll up just a little bit.
Like, see, this is
Hold
the
on, I mean-
cancel the
I
models
just
thing.
Yeah.
Bao does like over
Hold on,
censor
I just
here.
saw... Yeah, go a little up, a little more, no more. There it is. Okay, before I start, I want to point out why I'm addressing both Cinder and Redacted, despite the messages being largely from Redacted. Mate has throughout the messages the words we, were, our. These are typical pronouns that a manager is going to fucking use. Do not... Oh, sorry, Bao, you're making the same mistake Nanolith is. Just because they're saying these words does not mean that they are just the same person. And if most of the messages are from Redacted, you should be focused on Redacted and his actions. You guys are, like, this is guilt by association on an entirely different level.
Yeah. The only thing Bao adds that is new is these two parts are about her editor. And she's showing off that the message where Redacted says he feels like she sniped their editor is actually, the editor admits that he did it consensually, which I don't care. Like, yeah, I agree, Redacted's kind of being a petty cunt about that.
Yeah, he is, but it turns out that boom, like I called it, I'm like, you know, Bao, they probably just set up an exclusivity deal with the editor. Oh, and look at that, that's what happened.
Yeah. I'd like to say, why aren't you sorting this out privately? If you look at the timeline of events from Nano's documents, some of those messages date back years. I found out about this less than 48 hours ago. They did not give me the common courtesy of talking to me privately of this over those years. Just so you know, Bao, it's not an excuse. That's a common problem with all of you. You're saying, well, they were petty, so I'm just going to keep being petty too. That's not okay.
I love this. I would like to ask the community to refrain from spreading any harmful speculation. I'm sorry, Val, but as much as I love your content creation and stuff, they're absolutely going to go after people.
Yeah.
With harmful speculation specific. This entire thing right here is harmful speculation based on the foundational document that Nano posted.
And I do want to get your opinion before you leave on this section here. Because she says, on March 20th, I started a group Discord call that lasted 5 hours to hang out with my editors. In this group call, Kaiser shared with us he was afraid to ask Cinder for a raise because he initially turned down an exclusivity deal. As both a friend to Cinder and Kaiser, I encouraged him to take the deal and reassured him that it would not change our friendship, as I would never want someone I care about to miss an opportunity, even if it meant I would lose him as an editor. The other editors who were in the call can corroborate this. This doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
And you're just saying, yeah, that was a 5-hour call. Trust me, it happened.
Yeah, that doesn't... Yeah, I could do that.
It's a nothing burger,
right now.
but it's a nothing burger without evidence.
It absolutely is, yeah.
If Bao found out about this 48 hours ago, Nano shared the document with Bao before posting, yes. That's the thing, is this was definitely, for a fact, shared around to people before it was posted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And Bao has way more, like, put this document together. And this requires editing. This requires revisions. This is, like, all properly typed out, capitalized, punctuation, grammar looks good. Like, I'm sorry, this took you longer than a couple hours to slap together because you were caught off guard.
Yeah. Like, I don't believe it. And chat's right. Like, somebody says Bao doesn't know Cinder's side either. Yeah, like, again, almost all of this is from Redacted. And she's like, well, they didn't come talk to me. It's like, well, you didn't come talk to her. As far as we know, she doesn't know a single thing Redacted has said. There's no proof she knows what he's been doing at all.
Yeah. There's one thing. I think there was one specific statement that we can link Redacted and Cinder being on the same page on, but again, it wasn't even anything.
It was a
alarming
non-issue
or bad.
statement.
So, yeah, it was a completely exactly. So it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, people.
But that's my problem with, like, these documents. And I'm probably not going to cover all of them tonight,
Values
chat.
bolding in IntelliSense in a surprise doc.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but I was able to insert links and add some, like, I chose a good font, you know, or decided the background needed a little vibe. Dude, this took you 3 years.
Yeah.
We said,
Like, it makes me suspicious about all of it.
yeah, it does, me too.
It seems Nano shared it asking if they wanted their names censored or not, and then they made docs uncensoring their names. I mean, that's a possibility, yeah.
I mean, like,
it's still weird that they managed to release them all on the same day.
I only censored the names of the people who did not give me consent.
Yeah.
Well, if you did not have consent, if you got consent from some people or were refused consent by others, that means you fucking reached out and you presented this information and you told them about it. Like, there's no way that these creators were not aware of this.
Yeah.
Like, Dao did not figure out about this only 48 hours ago. She maybe figured out that, oh, this doc was posted 48 hours ago, but that's it.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I could shut down every criticism of Cinder by just going to any of these people and saying, okay, did you ask her about it? And every single one of them, Bao's already admitted that she didn't. Like, nobody cared to ask her if she knew what was going on. They just made a call-out document.
Exactly, and I'm actually gonna end it on this one, but another VTuber drama that could have been solved by a sit-down between reasonable people. Sadly, we're not dealing with reasonable people.
Yeah. Chat, I do love you guys, but I might be stopping there.
That was a great document review.
Yeah.
No, please don't subject yourself to what is like a paraphrased version of the document we just read. Like, that's all you're gonna have. Like, you want to do that 6 times?
No, why didn't you guys read the document? Rima, no! Means you forgot that involves talking things through. I'm very disappointed in everybody on this. Because trust me, I don't like Cinder.
Me too.
I don't like anybody in that sphere. I think they suck.
So, you know what's funny?
What?
And Cinder's probably gonna hate this, but when I first heard about and saw this, like, drama and saw Cinder's model, I'm like, wait, I thought they were going by Cerberus.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, sorry, it's just a little... Cinder would just rage at that. No, it's happening! No, I told you!
I do want to go through the other documents another day, chat, and see how they go.
Yeah,
so I'll
sure.
do like a Cinder part 2, including like the cheating documents and stuff. And I shouldn't have to read as much on those documents since we went through it today.
You need to call it Trial of Cinder. No, also for Trial by Cinders 2 Electric Boogaloo.
But yeah, chat.
But all right,
thanks
thank you very
for
much for
showing
having me,
up.
chat. I will. No problem. It was a lot of fun. I hope we could do this some more. just because, like, seriously, you are about the first and one of the only people who's actually, like, making sense of this, like, in a way that makes sense to me. Like, when I saw your thing, like, guys, how are we all just writing off Cinder based on this one fucking post by this person who provides no... So I'm like, oh, thank God, a normal person. It feels like that meme with Gordon Ramsay. Finally, some good fucking food. Like, in the sea of just retarded L takes, thank God there was a W1 with Mizzou.
Yeah. Chat, I'm gonna put this, my Discord, in the stream chat for you, if anybody wants to join. I have not read the Elfin Psyop document, but if you share it in my drama chat in the Discord, I will take a look at it, and I can probably read it some other time this week. But I haven't seen it at all.
Sparky's Tech just said, going to say something, it's not a knock against sharing anything, but it's so pleasant and satisfied actually seeing you having a normal conversation with no delay.
Yeah, it was getting better.
That delay was pretty bad.
But thank you for showing up.
The Elfin Psyop doc is another big nothing burger in my opinion, Elon, but that's neither here nor that. Thank you very much, Mizu, for having me. I'm going to actually wait this time, I promise.
Yeah. I'm going to send you guys over to Akko. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight and enjoying the absolute shit show this was happening. But night, everybody. Love you all. And I will cover the rest of these later this week. It's kind of late. I wish I had more time in the day. Link the Discord again. Okay. And chat, remember, if a document like this ever comes up, just read it. I feel like a lot of people, if they sat down and just read the document, it would be like a nothing burger. And most people would realize that there's really nothing here. I think Redacted is kind of an asshole. But, you know, consult the chart I made. There's no evidence against Cinder at all. There might be something in the future. There are other accusations people are making with no evidence, mind you. But right now we don't have anything. I'm gonna be mad if Haka doesn't mention you by name. Love you guys. Bye.